Hello everyone! Now I will introduce the usage of the HTTP client module. At the top of the module, there is a settings icon that allows you to configure HTTP client parameters. On the left side, there are settings and request nodes. The settings node is used to dynamically set the communication parameters of the HTTP client module. The request node is used to send requests to the HTTP server. On the right side, there are status and response nodes. The status node outputs the status code. The response node outputs the data returned after the request, formatted as a string. When configuring the HTTP client parameters and sending a request through a UI action, note that the UI action module outputs numerical values for all interactions except page actions. Therefore, its output cannot be directly connected to the HTTP client request node. Instead, an empty send command module must be placed in between. If you need to dynamically set the request parameters of the HTTP client module, the data format must be in complete JSON format. You can use the function module to define the JSON data, copy the full request parameters from the HTTP client module, modify them as needed, and then output the result as a string via the trigger out string. The status node on the right side outputs the status code, while the response node can be connected to a function module for data parsing. Let's go through an example where we use an HTTP GET request to fetch the real-time temperature of a city from an HTTP server. Add 3 buttons, 2 for selecting cities and 1 for sending a request. Add a text box to display the retrieved temperature. Assign action logic numbers to the 3 buttons and property logic number to the text box. The following modules are required: UI action module, send command module, function module, HTTP client module, property setter module. Synchronize the UI action module and property setter module with their assigned action and property logic numbers. Set the HTTP client module parameters according to the API. In the function modules, define and output the modified HTTP client parameters. Connect each city button to its respective function module input, and then link the function module output to the settings node of the HTTP client module. Connect the request button's output to an empty command sending module, then link it to the request node of the HTTP client module. Connect the response node of the HTTP client module to a function module for extracting the temperature. Finally, link the output of the function module to the property setter module to update the text box. After uploading the project to the control panel, we can observe the results. Clicking different city buttons triggers a request, and the real-time temperature of the selected city is displayed in the text box. Thank you for watching.